About 40,000 years ago, they vanished. The last of the Neanderthals disappeared from Earth. They were the only other humans on the planet. An entire kind of human, simply gone. They had walked this world for ages. For a long time, we told one story, that our ancestors hunted them down and wiped them out. Smarter, deadlier humans erasing the brutish cavemen. It is a dramatic story, and it is wrong. The real reason is stranger and far sadder. There was no Great War, and no massacre. And here's the twist nobody expects. The Neanderthals never fully disappeared at all. A piece of them is still here today. In fact, it might be inside you right now. This is what really killed the Neanderthals, and why they are not as gone as you think. First, forget the dumb caveman cartoon. Neanderthals were not stupid brutes at all. They were our closest cousins, a sister kind of human. Their brains were as big as ours, sometimes bigger. They crafted clever stone tools with real skill. They tamed and controlled fire. They cooked their food over warm flames. They planned their hunts with real cunning. They hunted huge, dangerous animals as a team. They sewed furs and built shelter from the cold. They survived ice ages that would break you. They buried their dead with quiet care. They made jewelry and marked cave walls. They looked after their sick and their elderly. These were clever, capable, feeling people. A second human story, running beside our own. They lived, loved, and grieved much like we do. In many ways, they were tougher than us, stronger, stockier, built for a frozen world. They had thrived for hundreds of thousands of years, so if they were so capable, why did they lose? The answer has nothing to do with brains. It comes down to cold, hard numbers. And the numbers were never on their side. The first problem was simple and brutal. There were never very many Neanderthals. They lived spread thin across Europe and Asia, in small, scattered bands, far apart. A handful of people here, a handful there, rarely meeting another band for miles. Scientists read the diversity in their DNA, and it was shockingly, dangerously low. Low diversity points to a tiny population, perhaps no more than 5,000 breeding adults. Across 2 whole continents, that is almost nothing, and it stayed that low for ages. They never grew into a great crowd. For hundreds of thousands of years, they stayed few. One Neanderthal's genome told a stark story. So much of it matched itself, that he likely lived among just 60 people. 60 souls in his entire little world, his whole tribe smaller than a classroom. Every face familiar, every day the same. Picture your whole species in a few villages. That is a population balanced on a knife's edge. One harsh stretch could tip it over. A drought, a sickness, a brutal winter. And being so few brought a second danger. When a group is tiny, everyone is related. Cousins had children with cousins. Family lines folded back on themselves. This is called inbreeding, and it is risky. It lets hidden, harmful traits rise to the surface. It quietly weakens an entire population, like a candle slowly running out of wax. Each generation a little frailer than the last. Scientists estimate the damage was severe. Inbreeding may have cut their fitness by 40%. 40% weaker than the humans nearby. In a hard world, that gap is enormous. That meant fewer healthy babies surviving, and fewer still growing up to have their own. And here's the truly haunting part. Scientists built models of these tiny groups. They added only small numbers, inbreeding, and bad luck. No war, no smarter rivals, nothing else. And the Neanderthals still went extinct in the model. Their smallness alone may have doomed them. They might have faded even if we never came. Their fate may have been sealed from within. But we did arrive, and that mattered too. Our ancestors walked into their cold world. Lean newcomers spreading out of Africa, and they carried something powerful with them. Not bigger muscles, but bigger connections. Homo sapiens lived in wide, linked networks. Distant groups traded tools, news, and partners. A good idea could travel hundreds of miles. A better spear point spread from camp to camp. If one band hit hard times, others could help. Their web of allies stretched across the land. Neanderthals lived in smaller local circles, tight little groups that mostly kept to themselves. When disaster struck one band, it stood alone. No distant friends arrived to share food. Each group rose or fell entirely on its own, cut off with no lifeline from outside. Many scientists think this gap was deadly. Our ancestors could absorb shocks. Neanderthals could not. One side bent and survived, the other broke. On top of this, the climate kept lurching. The ice age swung the weather wildly. A connected network can ride out a bad year. An isolated band simply starves and shrinks. So the Neanderthals were squeezed from all sides. Too few, too inbred, and too alone. A slow vice tightening over thousands of years. But notice what is missing from all of this. There is no great battle in this story. So what actually became of the Neanderthals? Here's where it turns truly surprising. When our ancestors met them face to face, they did not only fight or compete. They lived alongside them and fell in love. The two kinds of human had children together. They interbred again and again. Whenever the two peoples met, the lines blurred. Friendships formed and families followed. Scientists can now date when it happened. The main mixing was 47,000 years ago, and it lasted around 7,000 years. For all those centuries, the two peoples blended, Neanderthal and newcomer, living side by side, raising shared children under the same sky. Children who were a little of both worlds. Half ancient cousin, half newcomer. And that blending helped seal their fate. Think carefully about the numbers here. There were so few Neanderthals to begin with, and so many of the newcomers all around them. Every Neanderthal who had a half-human child had one fewer fully Neanderthal child. Their tiny gene pool kept draining into ours, a small pool pouring into a vast ocean. Soon you could barely tell it was ever there. Generation after generation, they were absorbed, not wiped out, but quietly blended away. Scientists call it absorption, not extinction. The Neanderthals did not fall in battle. They dissolved into the larger human tide, quietly, without a single shot fired. It was an ending by love, not by war. The gentlest extinction the world has seen. And this is where the story becomes about you, because that blending never truly stopped. Those mixed children grew up and had their own, and they passed the blended blood down the line, down through the ages, all the way to now, to the people walking around you today, and quite possibly to you. The proof is hidden in your own genes. If your roots lie outside of Africa, you are carrying Neanderthal DNA right now. Most people with non-African roots do, usually somewhere between 1 and 3%. A little piece of an ancient cousin in your cells, carried quietly through thousands of generations, handed down, parent to child, all the way to you. And that DNA is not just sitting idle, it is quietly doing real work in your body. Some of it tunes your immune system, helping you fight off certain infections. Some of it shapes your skin and your hair. Some of it changed how you handle the cold. Their bodies were built for an icy world, and they handed you tools to survive it. A quiet gift from a vanished people. So the Neanderthals are not really gone. They are scattered through billions of people, living on inside our blood and our bones, spread further now than they ever were alive. And here is the strangest twist of all. The blending flowed in both directions. Our DNA passed into the Neanderthals too. Their genomes carried traces of early modern humans. We were mixing into them as they mixed into us. Two kinds of human, weaving together, each leaving a mark on the other forever. Two stories that became a single one, until only one thread was left visible. So step back and look at the real story. The Neanderthals were not slaughtered by clever killers. They were not too stupid to survive. They were simply too few and too alone, worn down by small numbers and bad luck, squeezed by a wild and changing world, and then gently absorbed into a larger family. It is a quieter ending than any war, and in some ways, a sadder one. No villain, no battle, just a slow fading. A whole kind of human was not killed off. It just slowly stopped being separate, folded into us until it vanished from sight. Present in everyone, yet visible in no one. The last true Neanderthal died long ago, around 40,000 years in the past. But their story did not end in that cave. They live on in the mirror, in you, in the shape of a nose, in your immune cells, in quiet instructions written in your DNA, a faint echo that never fully left, quiet but still beating in your cells. We did not erase our ancient cousins. We carried them onward instead, folded safely into who we became. And we still carry them every single day. So what really killed the Neanderthals? Not us, not war, not a single enemy, just loneliness, small numbers, and time, and the strange mercy of becoming part of us. The Neanderthals never truly died out. They simply came home, inside our blood.